Research shows that an organization's culture can impact overall performance and productivity by up to 40%. Culture is also apparently the reason why up to 70% of all mergers, acquisitions, and organizational change projects fail. So, what is culture, and how can an organization best communicate and calibrate this all-important foundational element? Today, I'm going to talk about how to evaluate your organization's culture and determine how it may be either enhancing or diminishing your team's performance. Culture is one of those intangible yet fundamental elements that permeates all organizations. It is its practiced behaviors, beliefs, and shared assumptions. Ideally, it should reflect an organization's mission and values and inform all of its policies, goals, and decision-making. However, I've seen too many organizations suffer from a misalignment of culture, especially between the C-suite and the frontline teams. You may have experienced it yourself, where your team is given the directive to innovate, fail fast, and break things, when meanwhile the executive leadership carries forth a top-down, hierarchical, cost-obsessed culture that in effect undermines your team's entrepreneurial efforts, resulting in dispirited and frustrated team members. So, how do you evaluate your organization's culture to better understand if there's a gap between your team's strategic objectives and the organization's dominant culture? Well, there's a handy online assessment tool called the Organization Culture Assessment Instrument, or OCAI, that can help you determine if and how large that gap may be. Based on your answers to a series of questions, the tool plots your organization's culture on a 2x2 matrix, where you are oriented either internally or externally, and whether you emphasize either stability and control or flexibility and freedom. The assessment can help determine if your organization is an adhocracy, nimble, high-growth, decentralized, customer-focused, or a hierarchy, centralized, controlling, stable, and internally focused, or some combination of the two. Once you determine if there's a meaningful variance between how your team hopes to operate and the organization's dominant culture, you can then explore ways in which to close the gap and achieve better harmony between the two, perhaps even challenging the organization's cultural complexion and creating a bottom-up movement for cultural change. So, if your teams are struggling from a lack of support from leadership, it may be a result of competing values and misaligned cultures. Taking the time to evaluate this dynamic can be the difference between having a disheartened and demotivated team and one that thrives, drives change, and catalyzes organizational evolution. Thanks so much for watching.